sports betting crisis is officially out of hand. Recently, 2 major studies came out that pulled the curtain back on how damaging sports betting really is. In states where sports betting is legal, we're seeing rising cases of unpaid credit cards, surges in personal bankruptcies, and a general decrease in personal investment activity. Put simply, sports betting behavior go up, personal finance behavior go down. Calls to Ohio Sports Gambling Network increased 55% in 2023, which was the first year they allowed legal sports betting. These shady casinos are up to no good. It is clear that online sports betting is the future of the industry. It makes it so convenient and easy and accessible to just open your phone and place a bet.
All right, boys, who we betting on?
That, tied with the absolutely absurd amount of money that's being spent on advertising, it's no question why people are falling into this gambling trap. Advertisements for online sports betting are everywhere. They're on the boards, on the ice, after a whistle, during commercial breaks, they're on Reddit, they're on YouTube, they are everywhere. And this is backed by the data. Published by the American Gaming Association, an organization whose board is made up of every major casino in Las Vegas, has self-reported that since the pandemic, advertising has gone parabolic for online gambling. The hilarious thing I find about this report is that they're trying to make it seem as good for the American people as possible. They'll say things like our advertising has slowed, and yet they're still dumping money into advertising media. They also have this tab called Advertising in Context, where they hilariously compare gambling ads to other addictive substance commercials like alcohol. And their findings were that, hey guys, we're not the worst addiction. We spend less than the alcohol industry, okay? We don't need tighter regulation. I mean, if we were spending more than them, sure, you could totally make that argument, but we're not. They also compare themselves to other super manipulative industries like fast food, the pharmaceutical industry, and huge telecom companies. It's like, guys, do you know who you're comparing yourself to? You don't look any better by comparing yourself to these other industries that are also horrible. And it seems that the advertising is working. Flutter Entertainment, which owns a whole slew of online sports betting websites, most notably known for owning FanDuel, they have become the largest market cap gambling stock listed in American stock exchanges, with a market cap that has now hit $70 billion. And as someone who doesn't gamble myself, I wanted to put my ear to the ground and listen in from the people who are donating their money to these gambling companies. So naturally, I went to TikTok.
Can somebody teach me how to do parlays? I'm ready.
So I learned. And baby, I've been eating. Not once, but twice.
Guys, I didn't just win 1 out of 10 parlays. I won 2 out of 20. Forget about the other 18. I'm eating. I hit 2 out of 20 parlays. You should be taking notes.
Really, parlays are not as hard as I really thought it was going to be. Like, it really just takes strategy.
Hitting a 64-leg parlay, it's not that hard. If you follow my strategies, you will hit 60% of the time. And if you're betting the same amount, that's easy profit, all right? If I'm coming off as ignorant at all, I literally have never opened one of these online gambling apps because I don't want to subject myself to the addiction. But like, this mentality has to stop. Parlays are easy. They are designed for you to lose. Statistically, probability-wise, you're going to lose. This is the thing, right? Is like, people think that because of statistics and odds, that things are guaranteed or more likely to happen. And sure, they might be, but you can't control how a player plays that night, or you can't predict how a player will play that night. They could have woke up that morning with a cough or a stuffy nose, and your parlay's out the window, just like that. And the more legs you have to your parlay, the more things that have to go right. You're really just betting on luck. It's a chance. People think that sports betting is a better type of betting, a better type of gambling. It's gambling. It is still gambling. You're gambling on chance. And just because the chance is tied to the real world doesn't mean that the chance is more likely to happen. It's not like a slot machine where the odds are baked into the machine. This is real life. In real life, Klay Thompson hits 3 threes a night at least. But he didn't hit tonight.
To all my girlies who want to get into the parlays, the games, and you don't know nothing about sports, comment and let me know if y'all want to make a video, because it really is just all about strategy. I don't know if that's like the entrepreneur in me talking, but it's really just like a strategy type of vibe. So let me know if y'all want to go in depth on how to do parlays and not know shit about sports, because I know a little tiny bit about sports, but not enough. But I'm still eating.
So now we have sports betting gurus. I just love seeing people show like 1 or 2 use cases where it potentially does work and then say that it will work for everybody and that it's not based on luck. It's not based on this. It's strategy, and you have to understand the strategy. Preying on the girlies, the girly pops. What are we doing here, man? Why? Why are we trying to encourage people to gamble? What? Man. To my girlies that are watching the video, do not gamble. Don't do it. This tweet by DraftKings is just a classic manipulation tactic, showing you the 1 out of a million bets that were placed that night that turned out to be a banger. Sure, this person put in $50 and turned it into 100,000, but they're showing you this to make it seem like it's possible, like it's likely, like you can do it. I've always hated this, like, here's an example. This person did it. You can do it too. The odds are just not in your favor, and you lose this 99.999999999% of the time. When researching this video, I also looked to Reddit, and I found this Reddit post about how kids in high school are picking up online sports betting, which isn't legal, by the way. And the hilarious part is that the first 3 replies to this Reddit thread are examples of sports betting ads right underneath this post. You cannot make this up. I'm a math teacher. Been teaching a probability unit for close to 10 years. The last 2 years I've had students asking about sports betting. They legitimately thought their knowledge of the sport made it a way to make money. It's not as bad as other gambling. Advertising is working as intended. This is really sad that kids are picking up gambling. The first and only time that I ever gambled in my life was when I was like 14 years old, and I gambled $100 worth of skins in a video game. I lost it all. It broke my heart, and that feeling was so horrible that I just have not done it since. I learned my lesson when I was young, and that was probably the best $100 I've ever spent. But not every kid is like that. The lesson that you learn is based on your own interpretation of what happened. And if you don't come to that same conclusion, then you can just end up becoming a gambling addict.
Liam and I are 21, so we can't use like FanDuel or any of these, but there are ways to bet when you are 18. I have a couple friends who like use like their dad's email on FanDuel. Online, it says a 50-year-old man's placing the bet, but no, it's like my buddy.
You do it and you enjoy it, but you see some downsides?
Yes, there are definitely a lot of downsides. But do you remember when I was betting on Mexican League winter baseball? Yeah. Me and Liam were in the library once, and I was like, dude, I can't study anymore. I have to do something else. And then I went to Fliff, and I bet on Mexican League baseball.
Just bet the presidency.
I was this close to betting on who's going to win the president. I talked to my dad a little bit. I had to be like, I don't have any money. You know what I mean? Because I did genuinely lose a lot of my money I had. I was like, all right, like, that's it. Like, that's too much. That's enough. You have to settle down.
That's incredibly sad. And these poor kids are literally laughing about how hilarious it is that they were about to bet on the presidency. I don't know if that friend he's referring to, that his parent endorsed the account, or if he somehow managed to find his dad's wallet, steal his ID, and make the account himself. Either way, it's totally wrong that kids are allowed to do this. The gambling app that the kid talks about, Fliff, you don't even need to be 18. No ID required to sign up. You know it's bad when you're betting on other countries' leagues. That's just addiction. That's just the sickness talking right there. It all started on video games, too sadly. Didn't set us up for success, lol. Unregulated gambling is all over the place in video games. My favorite video game, Counter-Strike, has been known for its horrendous gambling scandals. Like, there are too many to count. That was how I got introduced to gambling and how I lost my $100 when I was 14. But again, how I even had access to that stuff at that age is crazy. And it's even more crazy that kids can have access to it today. I hit a 12-leg parlay 2 years ago. $10 paid out $875 on a Knicks game. I've been chasing that high ever since. I tried a straight bet, but the payout is trash. I'm trying to win 1K off $10, fam. People are so drawn to these get-rich-quick schemes, opportunities, and they think that 10% is a bad return. If you're placing a bet and you're set to make like 10%, on a bet, that's very, very likely to happen. Why is that any worse than like a 12-leg parlay that could pay out 200%, but the chances of it happening are like near zero? People are getting caught up looking at the payout and not the chances or the probability. I've hit a 14-leg parlay before. Don't stop, King. This is the other thing, is the encouragement inside the gambling community. Diamond hands. 99% of gamblers stop before they win big. What started out as like a joke and a meme has unironically become ingrained in people's mindsets, and they actually believe it. There is a part of these people that truly believe that they are the 1% of gamblers that will win big. It's just pure delusion. You gotta stop letting the sickness do the talking. We've established that gambling is bad and that it is an exploitative industry. There is a metric ton of advertising dollars being put behind it, and literal children are gambling. Why are policymakers, regulators, and politicians allowing this nonsense to go on, allowing the average citizen to be exploited by these manipulative advertising tactics, knowing damn well that the impact on people is across the board not good? Why are legislators, policymakers, and politicians sacrificing the mental health, financial well-being of the average person? I'll tell you why. Taxes. States collected more than $1.8 billion in tax revenue from sports betting taxes in the fiscal year of 2023. That is why sports betting is legal. Targeted taxes on sports wagering rely on the economic justification that gambling is addictive. Isn't that lovely? Your politicians are exploiting you for tax dollars off of your gambling addiction. Isn't that nice? It's just so messed up.
When I first started sports betting, I figured that I was going to be a professional at it. I was winning in the beginning, and I thought, hey, like if I'm already winning now, it can only get better, right? What we're being led to believe right now by casinos and by gambling entities is that if we know a lot about sports, if we have a lot of knowledge about player stats, game trends, game lines, that we'll be able to make money gambling on it in the long term. That just isn't true. Sports betting is gambling. I don't know how you could see it as anything but that. Vegas was not built on winners. It was built on us going thinking that we had a chance to win and losing. The only way that you're going to make money gambling is if you're running a casino. It is not worth it to get involved with sports betting if you haven't started already. If you are gambling right now, if you are sports betting right now, just be safe, know when it stops being fun, and don't let it get too far, because it is an addiction if you let it take over you, and it can ruin your life. Sports betting is not profitable, gambling is not profitable, and you need to remember that, because that's what's going to happen every single time you go back to the bet long term.
I don't think there's any better way to close out this video than that. So let's leave it there. If you watched all the way to this point of the video, I think you should subscribe, and be sure to drop a like while you're down there too. If you want to watch a video about how car payments are getting out of control, click this video here.